Hey guys, welcome into my channel. My name is Victor Vandeslag. I am recording out of the Pacific Northwest. This is my first video in a series of cooking videos we're gonna do. We're gonna focus on some bagels today. We're gonna do them 3 ways, but we're gonna focus on the main base recipe, and then we'll make some adjustments at the end to it. So let's see how awkward I can get on camera. Alright, here is what we're using today. We're using a little bit of bread flour. I prefer this over the all-purpose flour. It just seems to make it a little more, the crumb a little more chewy. A little more bagel-like to say. A little bit of salt in that. We're also using sugar and yeast and some water. Obviously not this water. That's what I'm drinking, but we'll put some water in here. But that's where we're starting. And then once we've got the base recipe down, we're also going to be making some cinnamon raisin bagels and some cheddar bagels for Mr. John at work, because he loves it. You're also going to need a KitchenAid mixer. Mine is very old and ratchety and groans and moans, but it still gets the job done. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get our water. 1.5 cups of water. You want the water to be about 110 to 120 degrees, just to help with the blooming of the yeast. And to that, we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of sugar for the yeast to eat off of and feed. We're going to add 1 packet or 2.25 teaspoons of yeast. Perfect. Now we're going to give that a nice big spin around. Spin around? Stir around. Give that a nice big stir around. Stir, stir. Stir, stir. For this step 2, I like to get a paper towel wet with hot water and just put it over the top like that. And we'll see how it rises. Be back in about 5-10 minutes. That should have a nice big head on it. Looking good. We'll be back. Alright, it's been about 5 to 10 minutes, and it looks like we got a nice little bloom on there, nice little head. If your yeast isn't doing this, if it's, you know, tiny and talentless, like nothing there, it's probably dead and you need to replace your yeast. Go to the store, get some new stuff. Try again. Alright, so with this ready, we're going to add the flour and the salt. And that is 3.5 cups of flour. And 1.5 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to move over to the KitchenAid. Alright, I use this dough hook here. I'm going to be careful with this though, because this edge, it'll cut you up if you're not careful. So you got to be careful putting your hands, don't put your hands in there. We're going to add our bloomed yeast with that magnificent head on it. Put this down and give it a lock, and we're going to turn it on 1 and just let it go. Alright, first check on the dough, and that is super sticky. That's not going to be good enough. Sorry. The measurements for all the stuff I gave you is basically the base measurements, and if the conditions are perfect, it'll be fine. But if there's a little more moisture in the air, if, you know, when the temperature is off, whatever, you had a little more flour, lock it back up and go again. Alright, I think we should be good. Let's see what we got. All right, you can kind of feel it, like it's still sticky, but it just kind of it's slipping off. I don't know how else to describe it. But this is a somewhat sticky dough. Not super sticky. I'm just fingering it. It's fine. All right, we're gonna move it back over to the board. Put a little bit of flour down. Now this is my fun part. You don't, I mean, if you got the mixer, you don't really need to do this, but I like to get my hands in and, you know, finger at the dough a little bit. All right, we're gonna get a bowl, a little bit of olive oil in there, maybe a little bit more. Swirl it around. Usually I use a metal bowl. I know a lot of people like using glass bowls, but I'm making a few batches of these and I got lots of plastic bowls, so that's what we're doing. Oop. Put it in there. Flop it around a little bit. Look at that. Look how pretty. Alright, cover it with a cloth. For this one I'll use a dry cloth, so no big deal. Put it somewhere warm and let it rise for about an hour, hour and a half. And now while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to put together the cinnamon raisin and the cheddar ones. We'll be back. So now what do we do while we're waiting for the rise? Do whatever we want. We're young, we're pretty, we've got a whole bunch of talent. What else can we do? No, no, no! I'm so sweaty. Yeah.
Armed and dangerous!
Freak, it's smurfing.
Armed and dangerous!
Game's cheating. Come on. Alright, it's been about an hour, 15 minutes. Looks like we've increased by at least twice. No matter what, you come take a little closer look. We're going to take this, we're not going to punch it down or anything, just flip it over. There we go. We're going to take our paddle. Whoop. Easy. Maybe not so easy. Doesn't matter. Go there. Go there. There. Look at that. Look how wonderful those look. Gonna form them into some balls. I don't have to spend too much time on this. Just, you know, they're gonna rise for a little bit longer. Fold them over, tuck them in. They're still so silky. Put the towel over them for another 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, we're gonna get a pot boiling. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes. I'm gonna take these and make our magical holes. Just stick it through your finger. Sometimes you can get 2 fingers in there and just, you know, have a little fun. Round and round we go. Look at that. Look how beautiful those are. Super beautiful. Cover them up another 10 minutes or so. Boop. And we'll be right back. Water is boiling, so a couple things we're going to add to it. We're going to add in about 2 tablespoons clover honey. Some honey, anyway. I'm not actually measuring it, just... That's good enough. Give it a nice little stir. I bought this this spoon thing here just for bagels, so you know, specialty work. Why not? Anyways, you're also gonna add about a tablespoon of baking soda. Now, when you add this, it is gonna foam up, and it might get a little crazy, but it'll be fine. And now, we're just going to float them in. Drop them away from you so you don't splash yourself. But just let them go. About 60 seconds per side. We'll see what they look like, yeah? Ooh, swimmers! Alright, they're getting all blown up here. We're going to flip on the side. You can do this one of a couple ways. You can either take your spoon and just flip it. I find it's easier to push down on them. Oops. Look at that. You can see they're getting a nice little chewy exterior. It's gonna be so good. Alright, so we should have our oven preheated to 425. I would recommend, highly recommend, especially if you live in an old apartment like me, and you have an oven that's from like 1947. You need to get yourself one of these inside oven thermometers just to make sure your temperature's right. Because mine's about 75 degrees off for the most part. Anyways, we're going to give these an egg wash into the oven so we get that nice glistening top. Alright, the egg wash is applied. Can be slippery. Into the oven, 425 degrees for 20 minutes, give or take. I'll see you guys. Alright, here is our loot for the day. We got the plain bagels, we got the cheddar bagels, we got the cinnamon raisin. I didn't really go into these too much, but they're fairly simple. Once you get the base recipe down, you just add the ingredients to these at the kneading stage before you rise it, and then you sprinkle a little cheese on this one before you bake it. If you guys want to see either of these two individually done, I can do those in another video. I will also be doing some rainbow bagels coming up soon, but who knows when that will be. Anyways, let's see what these look like inside. Yeah, at least one of the plain ones. How about this one? Alright, doesn't look too bad. The crumb is nice and squishy. Let's toast that up. Alright, we got a nice light toast on that. We can do anything with it from here. We can make it into a sandwich. We can put some butter on it. We can put some cream cheese on it. That's what I'm going to do. There we go. Just a little bit. Doesn't need much. Have your favorite side with this, maybe? It's time to eat. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, so good. The guys at work are gonna love these. Cheddar ones. Anyways, that's it. First video up and running. We're gonna do a couple more. I think we're gonna do some shakshuka next. Might get into some banana breads, condensed milk bread we got recommended to us. So we're gonna do. And if you like gaming videos, Fortnite, horror games, adventure games, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, you can find me over on Twitch under the same name as this channel, Victor Vandeslog. We can do some traveling and some motorcycle videos over on Instagram. That's going to be launching soon, so Pay attention for that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!